Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
Hey, gentlemen, how you doing?
Good morning.
Ooh, doing all right.
Well, so it is Tuesday morning. This is going out today.
Yes,
It rained in San Francisco in
rained.
October.
It's the beginning of the rains, which is nice. I love the rain. I will never again ever mind the rain.
No,
So
after
let's
the
get
3
outta
years
here.
with no rain.
5 or 6
Well, I
years.
mean, like 3 years really.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was awful. And so now the rain is back and it's really nice. It's like lovely in the house.
Yeah.
You know, the rain against the windows. I put my mom on a plane this morning to home. She was here
Okay.
over the weekend. So last weekend.
Bye, Adam's mom. I'm sorry I didn't see you this time.
And my mom's on the same plane as Kristen.
Oh, she's doing
As Kalo, yeah.
Kristen has maybe the second. Kristen and my friend Mary Robinette Kowal have equal terrible luck with flights.
Kristen is like, if she's booked on a plane, that plane is not taking off.
Well, so
She has the worst travel karma I have ever seen.
She can even be on the same plane as you, and then like you'll get switched off, or she'll get switched off or something, and then you'll just never see her again. She's gone.
Yeah, no, it's really bad. But they're on a
those
plane
flights-
back to New York.
That's right, to New York because
Well, we're headed off to.
we'll
Kristen's
be.
on her way to come to New York because she's going to meet us there at Comic-Con in New York this week.
This is 2 trips to New York in the same month,
I
basically.
know,
That's
I know.
very lucky.
But so my mom was here over the weekend. She came down to LA to be part of the fundraiser I told you guys about yesterday. I am happy to
Last week, you mean?
Last week, yesterday. There's a lot going on.
It's okay. You've been busy.
It feels like all I've been doing is flying since we wrapped Mythbusters Jr.
Boy, are your arms tired.
Yes. So we raised just a shade over $70,000 for Our Children's Trust.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, there were matching grants involved, but we were able to hit a whole bunch of thresholds. And it was a really, really lovely fundraiser. We threw it in the Chateau Marmont. Was my favorite hotel in LA. Donated their penthouse for the fundraiser.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was really gorgeous.
Because that would have eaten a lot of the 70 grand, probably.
And the lead plaintiff, Kelsey, is an incredible speaker. She's 22, and like it's almost annoying how brilliant she is at speaking, like public speaking, just super inspirational. So it was a fantastic weekend all around.
Are they suing the entirety of the federal government, or are they like targeting specific places?
That's actually, if you look at the list of defendants, it is literally like all the top cabinet posts in the United States government, and many of them are still vacant.
and this started in the last administration, so this is not a partisan issue.
No.
This is-
The Obama administration fought this tooth and nail.
Yeah.
And because the implications to them are anathema. The implication is that they're going to have to actually enact genuine policies to immediately start lowering the temperature.
Well, it's interesting because I was thinking about this after we talked about it last week. Like, what if everything that you bought had the total cost of that thing from creation, the carbon it creates during the creation, all the way down to disposal afterwards, safe disposal afterwards, built into it?
Yeah.
And
can you imagine the nonpartisan process for determining that
well,
calculation?
look, total cost of ownership is complicated on simple stuff. So
What you're sorry to interrupt, but you're reminding me years ago, Spy Magazine, one of the great satirical monthlies ever produced. Spy Magazine did a long article on how many lives you're taking just by moving through your day. And it'd be like, I wake up and I go into the bathroom. The ceramics industry that provided the tile for my bathroom, on average, about 28 people a year die mining these chemicals. And at the end, he figured out at the end of his day that he was personally responsible every single day for something like 0.00018 deaths.
So you guys have a special version of this as well. I think Hank Green, maybe at XOXO a few years ago, did a talk.
Oh, yes, I remember this.
He looked at the minutes watched for his YouTube channel and then divided that by the number of minutes in an average 72-year life and realized that he'd murdered several dozen people.
Nice.
Like he'd wasted enough time for several whole human lives.
Oh, that's great.
With silly videos on the internet. So,
Wow.
that's a fun activity for you guys to do later.
Sure.
Yeah.
So So we are all in a tizzy here just to get ready for the con. This is the last con that I'm going to be attending for a while.
Because
Yeah, I'm
next
going
year,
into production. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley Comic Con has moved next year from the spring to August.
I thought you were going to say it was moved to Anaheim.
No,
That's what happens to cons in San Francisco.
so it's the nursing home of cons.
Will.
Is that what you're saying?
No, we used to
Anaheim
have
and
WonderCon.
Pomona deserve
Yeah.
better than that.
Hey, look,
Yeah.
man.
They have wonderful facilities.
What was it? WonderCon that used to be
Yep.
here?
That's right.
Yeah.
Those were good times.
But WonderCon started up here.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying.
And it moved to
Right.
Anaheim.
Yeah, they moved to Anaheim.
Didn't
Yeah.
they move back here last year?
No.
No.
They
They're
moved
never coming
from
back.
Anaheim,
They're gone,
though.
Adam.
No, the set's still in Anaheim.
All right. So we're getting ready for the con.
Off camera.
My costume is all sitting here.
So
in
many colors.
Chunks and pieces on the pool table.
Yeah.
I guess if you could tap into my security camera, you could see what we're doing.
Why build
Enhance in
one?
the reflection of your glasses.
Why
I'll
build,
help you by pivoting.
why build one when you can buy two for twice the
Well, I
price?
always build now two of almost everything. Just because it's only slightly harder.
You know,
Yep.
we were talking about this yesterday because this is a costume that, and it's not a spoiler to say, it was a huge collaboration. You said, what, 7 people
7 collaborators from all over the world.
have worked on it. And this is something that absolutely happens in cosplaying in general, right? When communities of people come together, sometimes when there are themes for costumes, people do runs of things. And I asked you, how difficult is it, like, to make the 3rd one or the 4th one? And, when you're thinking about building a costume like this, I know you want to put a lot of effort in whether it's machining something or painting something up, but do you think about, this is a costume that's going to be really difficult to make a second one?
It's a really good question. So understand that for the various vendors I had for this costume, part of the cost of I had everybody make 2 of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the cost of that is they're figuring out how to make this thing. So I'm paying their R&D costs as well as the supply cost, right, for the item that I actually bought from them, which means that the next one I get, if I ordered another one, it would be a little bit cheaper.
Cost plus labor. Yeah.
Because they now know how to have the patterns,
Right,
and
right.
that's actually the case. I'm in the process of making a 3rd one.
I mean,
I can't stop.
We talked, like, when we went down last week to Frank Ippolito's shop, we were talking about, we want to make several of these Martian costumes too, but we're looking at it, and you know what? The toughest part is probably the cut and sew.
The
right?
cut and sew and the sheer the wrangling of the sheer number of pieces of that costume is. I made a list on the plane on the way home, and it's ridiculous. There's so many tiny little parts of that.
Well, looking at that film, even just like the little boom that they hung the GoPros on the shoulders is like 6 different pieces.
Yeah.
And it's all articulated, I
Yep.
think, too. Yeah. It was bonkers.
and it
Yeah.
comes out of the suit, and
And it depends on, like, how much of the fidelity you want. Like, if there's something such as on the Martian Suit, a helmet part where you're machining tons of pieces, it's going to be, unless you have a CNC, it's going to take the same amount of time almost, because you'll figure out the process. Or you could have it all and make a mold and mold the pieces you've machined.
The other thing is that for all the parts that I did, and I did a huge amount of scratch building on this costume, and even with all the vendors, I ended up doing a bunch of construction as well. I made 4 of everything that I needed 2 of. And I've ended up with a 3rd of every part that I made.
Well, I mean, because that saves you the anxiety of, I have to get this exactly right on the first try.
Exactly,
Right? Yeah.
exactly. And so I have a couple that are not necessarily as perfect as I personally needed them to be, but they're absolutely good enough for the problem I end up having is that it's not enough for me for the parts to be visually perfect. I want them to feel right to me. And so that means I usually, for my own personal costume, add this level of veracity and feel and weight to things that there's no difference visually between mine and the other one. It's just a difference between how it feels, whether it's made of actual metal or resin.
So, I mean, what's the most difficult part of a suit like the Martian suit? I like, you look at it and you first saw it as the dome, but there's also all these unusual, novel textiles that are underneath that suit.
I think textiles.
The number of different. So one of the things that FBFX does so well in the spacesuits that they build, and again, we've covered them on Tested. They made all the suits for the Martian, including the EVA suits. They did Covenant, Prometheus, is they do so much deep detail world building with their costumes. So it's not just that there's a dome and then there's these complex little parts, but as you look closer at the textile dot patterns and halftone patterns on the suit, they're mirrored on the helmet, and those are all slip transfers. And then you look a little further and there's little stickers of tiny language things like do this before this, and there's words that they came up with. And then you look even deeper and there's all these little bits of etched brass badges on stuff, and that even the cobra buckles that are used to hold this have custom riveted etched brass signage on them. I mean, they really the storytelling goes all the way down.
I wonder because online as people sometimes sell like digital assets, right? They'll model Greeblies, and you can buy from a 3D modeler a pack of just random mechanical things that you can 3D print and put on your props. But do they do it for like signage? I would love just like decal sheets.
Decal sheets. So it's a good question. I haven't gone and looked for decal sheets specifically on Etsy, but that would be really,
Yeah, just like warning signs of all scales that I could, because printing those and getting them on water slides, that's a cost.
It's a cost, and it's a pain in the butt.
Can you do decal sheets like that at home?
You can actually.
Okay.
You can buy. If you went and looked on Amazon, you would be able to find water slide decal stuff you can do on either a laser printer or an inkjet. I believe there's systems for both.
Then you have to trim them yourself with an X-Acto or something before you get them wet, I assume.
It's complicated. Like it's a multi-step process, but it totally works. We've done it here in the shop. It's easier for me to order it from outside. For me in this shop, it's the equivalent of, my wife talks about this, baking bread is great, but a loaf of bread costs like $5.
Yeah.
It's so not worth your time unless you're really into it to go do it. Like eclairs. Eclairs are great, but your eclair at home is not even going to be close to even the crappy eclair you can buy at the store. It's going to take you days.
Once I learned the sous vide custard trick, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
You just put it in the bag and just stir the bag every once in a while. Custard's a lot easier.
Unless you're making batches of 50.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm seriously looking forward to New York Comic Con.
I mean, you're going to be wearing the Martian suit. It's going to be really great. People are going to be really excited. And,
it's not the Martian suit. We're not done. We're just started.
Yeah, just
the
resumed.
dome is right over there, though. It's so pretty.
It is very pretty.
That's the other part is that, and what, to be clear, because you guys have been really the steady line of questions from both tested premium and regular members and on the YouTube channel. Frank has been doing the lion's share up till now of all of the little bits of problem solving on the multiple pieces of the Martian suit. And he's also got a complete full running shop with like 25 people going full time.
I think the coolest thing we didn't mention last week is as his shop grows and as he gets new toys, like tools to work with, he thinks of it in terms of, well, what can I use this to add to the suit? Now I have a new supplier who can screen print this type of neoprene substitute. Well, that's going to be really cool for the Martian suit.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, you see on stuff like Project Runway where they do custom textiles on, HP or somebody sponsors a custom textile episode, and then they
I didn't realize that was happening. That was, okay.
Oh, yeah. So they go out and they send them out in the world. They send them to art museums or the botanical gardens or something and tell them to design a custom print.
Yeah.
And then they get that print made over a 24-hour, it's TV 24 hours, so who knows how long it actually takes.
Right.
But I wondered if that stuff can apply to things like the custom textiles and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And then
you
dimensional screen printing is one of the big things that's on the Martian suit.
What does dimensional screen printing mean?
So a few years ago, I'm sorry that I cannot remember her name, but Deborah Nadoolman Landis was explicating the genius of the Marvel costume designer for the Captain America suit for Winter Soldier.
The best Captain America movie.
Soon to be
It's my
discussed.
favorite. And the thing about, it turns out about superhero movies is one of the large costs that production must bear is getting its actors out of their costume so they can eat lunch and back in their costume so that they can keep shooting. This can take up hours per day, but to get in the costume in the morning, get out of it for lunch because it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. No one wants to wear Iron Man suit all day. I mean, except
or
for
makeup.
cosplayers.
Yeah,
right? And so what the costume designer did, and I believe Winter Soldier was the first one, was screen printed 4-way stretch dance fabric with a screen printed texture that was dimensional and made it look like Cordura.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Right. So Chris Evans was like, wow, I can wear this all day. He's like, he had full motion in the suit, even though it looks like it's ballistic nylon.
It's so funny because this was like, I remember this being a conversation that happened on the second Tim Burton Batman movie when they did the first Puma cowl.
Oh, right,
For Michael Keaton, so he could turn his head when he was fighting. And like the conversation, that was in like 1992, I think. So we're literally talking about 25 years.
It's really hard to make suits that can move with the actors,
Wow.
especially when they're, have all this armoring and all these different coatings. So yeah, that has initiated a whole wave of costume, like you see with these, not just specular highlighting, but dimensional highlighting. Superman's suit has multiple, tiny little beautiful layered details of both dimensionality and color. And it's like, I love superhero suits now. I just think we're in this golden age of movie superhero suits.
I also noticed like two different types of approaches to designing superhero suits. There's like the Superman, Spider-Man, and maybe even Batman's, where it looks like one consistent type of fabric. Yeah, there's like going to be seam lines and patterning, but there's screen printing of like, this is the pattern.
Right.
Right. And then I think on the Marvel side, you saw this in the Captain Marvel trailer, you saw this in Ant-Man the Wasp, a lot of that stuff looks a lot of piping. And like,
Right.
it's like almost like 4 or 5 different textures on a suit to make it look a little more armored.
Well, and then you have the one that's fully integrated, like Vision, which has got to be the most difficult kind of suit to
yeah,
make.
Vision has like the pattern on the front, but then there's all these hard parts and
Right,
soft
and
parts.
all of the transitions
Yeah.
to his face and his
Or
head.
like the seamless cloak and all that stuff. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I wonder, like, and you also wonder, you see the bits about like the suits that are virtual, right?
Right.
So I mean, obviously
Downey
the Hulk,
has. I don't
yeah.
think Robert Downey's put on an Iron Man suit for years.
Oh,
Since
really?
the first one.
Yeah.
The second one was already you can see the visual markers on his armbands. Like the elbows, all the joints are all just CG.
So when he jumped off of the tower in Avengers, he was just not like, wow, good acting.
Suspension of disbelief.
So Adam, you're doing an incognito walk at Comic-Con, I assume. New York
I
Comic-Con?
am. This coming week. I'm excited about that.
Do you know days yet, or should we plug that? Is that a thing we should plug?
I think we're still.
I think we're not announcing you.
Okay.
If you follow Adam or test it on Twitter, we will announce it by Thursday.
The Twitters. Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
You
on
gonna
the
give any more
Twitters.
hints what the costume is? Okay.
No, but I'm excited to talk about Mythbusters Jr. I'm
Okay.
excited to talk about the new show that I'm about to start producing. And again, I love the New York Comic Con. I love how different it is than San Diego. It's like it feels equally as gargantuan and yet like a totally different beast. And I'm still just getting to know New York Comic Con. This is our third year.
Yeah, I think yeah.
I saw clips from your talk with the Mythbusters Junior kids
At World Maker Fair.
World Maker Fair a few weeks ago. They started popping up online last week, and those kids are super duper smart.
Aren't they great?
I mean, holy cow! Yeah,
I love those
It's
kids.
very cool.
Oh, they're so fabulous. Yeah, and that was the third or fourth bit of press that we've done together. And they were all talking about the difficulty of going back to school, back to real life after
Wow.
this summer, right?
I mean,
Can't
some of them are probably
imagine.
close to postdoctorate programs at this point, right? So
And it was nice. I mean, yeah, we all had the best summer ever. I gained 6 new friends and 6 new families.
that's awesome.
That's what it feels like.
Norm-
World Maker Fair, by the
Yeah.
way, we talked about that
Yeah, we
already.
did last
World
week.
Maker Fair, holy cow! What another again totally different than San Mateo Maker Fair and really cool.
I really want to go to World Maker Fair one time as like Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black. Like I think that there's not a lot of cosplay at Maker
Okay.
Fairs usually, but I feel like this is
Yeah.
an appropriate one for
You
World
need
Maker Fair.
you need to go with someone else.
Yeah.
but you can borrow my neuralizer if you need it.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey,
Without a doubt.
The
we just
tiny
published
cricket.
a video today. We shot yesterday because you called us over and wanted to shoot something really quick about a model kit you had bought, and it was a little bit of a PSA.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about it.
Sure.
And the video is all like you bought a model kit online, as you do.
Yeah, I bought a model kit of an. Occasionally, I go look. I do one of my search terms is garage kit astronaut.
Okay.
And one of my favorite garage kit designers,
yes, at Industrial Mechanica,
they famously did the dystopic astronaut that Norm and I built about
the
3
cosmonaut.
years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
The
That one's
cosmonaut.
mwah.
And
So
there's
they've
a
got a
whole
new
series
one
of
out.
that. Yeah, there's like 3 new ones of smaller scale. But the whole idea behind this company is that they find artists, concept artists, 3D artists, and pair them with modelers who can design and turn their concept art into something that's a garage kit. And then they sell limited quantities.
And we covered this when we did the build, but it's really important to call out that Industrial Mechanica is not only are their castings beautiful, like there's no bubbles, no cleanup required. Their castings are great. The level of detail in those castings is astonishing and gorgeous, and the engineering of the kit is also top notch. When you finish the pieces, they slot together perfectly.
All the keying is right where the seams are placed. It's so much detail.
If you build a lot of garage kits, there's a wide variance of quality in what people turn out. And some of it is just because some people have slightly lower shop standards than others, and that's fine. Doing garage kits mean you're doing a lot of cleanup. But when you come across a company like these guys that do such great work, the thing is that I bought this new kit and it came with a note in it. And the note was from the owner of the company, and he said, "I'm so glad you bought another one of our kits. When you did the build on tested of the one 3 years ago, it kind of saved our company because we were being killed by recasters, people purchasing their garage kit, throwing it into resin, and selling it cheaper on eBay and Etsy." And there's a lot of discussion on the RPF about what recasting is. Like, could I buy a part and then make a mold of it in my house to make 3 more for a costume I'm doing? Personally, I don't have any problem with that unless you're taking money out of the mouth of the creator when you could be supporting them. But this one, where people are literally building a business by stealing other people's work and underselling them and making shittier versions of it, it's just, I don't know.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and this is exactly the kind of thing that we said, hey, don't
do it.
Steal from Disney. Go nuts.
Yeah, but support the small builders of the world. Support those small companies working hard to. All Industrial Mechanical wants to do is put cooler kits in the hands of more people. That's their life goal.
Well, and the thing that they do, pairing the artists with the people who can turn those 2D flats into 3D objects in the real world is it's just beautiful.
Again, that's where so much of that cost is figuring that out, and it's all original IP, right? It's all stuff that just hits our buttons for like, this is the coolest thing ever.
And frankly, if you look around the world and you think about the mass production of everything, and including shipping, which means that you can no longer find what you need in a store, right? You can no one stocks anything. I sent Freddie over to Best Buy a couple weeks ago and said, "Can you get me a waterproof case for my iPhone? I'm going to do this kayaking." And he came back and he was like, "They don't have any." What?
Well, Prime Now. Adam.
What's that?
Prime Now is where you get it.
This is the thing, is that no one is stocking anything. So if you're looking at this world and thinking that this isn't the right direction to go, support these small companies, because this could be the future where things are bespoke and built by people who really care, and that you could go support them. And it doesn't take much. It's an extra $40 on that garage kit. Go do it.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much what you wanted me to say?
No, totally. Yeah. And I think people agree. It's shocking, like the fact that you had to put, little cards in every kit. No recasting, and people just don't think about it.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is why I prefer to buy my garage kits and that kind of stuff in Etsy over eBay. And don't get me wrong, there are still some shitbirds on Etsy who are cheating and stealing, but for the most part, you can reach out and contact the seller directly on Etsy, and that means you can build a relationship and you can be confident of that relationship.
Well, I mean, just in general, even with computer hardware, somebody the other day sent me a link. It was like, "Hey, is this the RAM I need for my computer?" And it was an eBay link. I was like, "Dude, do not buy computer hardware on eBay, like especially RAM, because it's like if you're buying a piece of RAM and you're buying like a high end low latency expensive memory." It's really easy to peel those stickers off and print some new ones and stick the expensive RAM
This is
stickers
hardware
on.
that's burned out. mining Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Don't buy old things that you can't find anymore new. Buy clothes, buy stuff like that. Don't buy
It also happens in terms of like art and even minimally mass produced stuff in terms of like designer toys, and we're going to see a lot of those at New York Comic Con.
I can't wait.
Like our friend Jason Freeney recently posted on his Instagram, like he has a very iconic look to his style of his anatomical figures and toys, but there are other companies who have, even companies he's worked with before, who have taken that idea and riffed on it, and people assume on social media that it's credit to him, and he'll have to take an active stance, say, these 4 things that you saw just went on sale, I had nothing to do with it. I see no money from this. And the retailers he's worked with are now pulling those toys off of their lines and giving refunds to people who've bought them because,
because they thought that they were...
It's shady practice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine line between, hey, your work inspired me. If you look at the people that followed, say, Ali Moss, right? Ali started releasing movie posters, about 10 years ago now almost. And he informed an entire generation of designers with this kind of minimalist hidden silhouette stuff that he started out doing. But if you look at what Ollie's doing now versus what he was doing 8 years ago, he's continued to evolve and continued to grow. So the people who are knocking off the posters that are on Norm's living room wall are very much like they're 8 years behind.
Yeah.
So you have to keep evolving and keep doing new stuff as an artist. At the same time, a vendor that's knocking off somebody's designs that they've sold before to sell more, like that's shady.
And look,
there's no hard lines, I guess.
I also fully recognize that we are in this wonderful position where oftentimes small sellers will send us their kits to build, and I really appreciate that. We also and I fully recognize that the difference between $100 and $160 is a real difference. Like that, I get that. I exhort you to think of it not as I'm losing another $60 as much as I am supporting an independent artist executing their work at the level that they see fit. That's what you should be thinking about it as.
It matters just as much to the person making it in their garage.
Exactly.
As
That
it does to
$60
you.
makes a big difference to that person as well.
That's the ability to make 1 or 2 more kits.
Exactly.
Hey everyone, before we move on with the conversation, I want to thank the sponsor that makes this week's episode of Still Untitled possible, and that's Campaign Monitor. When it comes to email marketing, there's so much more that goes into creating smart and effective campaigns than what meets the eye. That's why Campaign Monitor created an easy-to-use email marketing platform, complete with simple drag-and-drop email editors and an award-winning 24/7 customer service. Campaign Monitor gives you everything you need to run beautifully designed professional email marketing campaigns to grow your business. With their gallery of beautiful email templates, all of which look amazing on every device, you're bound to find something that will make your brand pop. And since Campaign Monitor uses detailed lists and smart segments, your messages instantly drive more engagement. No wonder it's used by more than 250,000 businesses worldwide. Now, Still Entitled listeners have the opportunity to try Campaign Monitor for themselves without spending a dime. Sign up for your free trial today at campaignmonitor.com/untitled. Again, that's campaignmonitor.com/untitled. Back to the conversation.
Okay, Norm. You promised something last week
I
that we
did
need to
promise
address.
something, and you
Oh,
alluded
really?
to
You're
earlier.
going to do it?
No, I don't think we have time.
No, I don't think we do.
No, but
was gonna say.
Norm dug this hole for us. It's his problem. He's going to segue out of it.
Are you just
We're-
going to
we're
list them
gonna-
and then we're
we're
going to
gonna
argue them out
rank-
later?
Oh, no.
Look, I think we can just safely say it's bookended on either side by Thor movies.
Wow.
That is really great.
Yeah,
We're talking about
that's
ranking
actually-
all 21.
Whatever.
That's a great
Like-
Jeopardy answer. Bookended in quality by Thor movies. What is the Marvel,
Marvel
Cinematic Universe? Trebek.
Iron Man, Thor 2, Thor Ragnarok.
Wait.
Worst to best.
I think. Wait, Thor 2 is Dark World.
Thor 2 is
I
Dark
think
World.
that's better than Thor.
Have you watched that ever? I'm asking
I've watched
now.
Oh, I
both
love
of them,
this.
but I remember thinking Dark
I
World
look,
sucks
relish
less.
this. How about
The
this?
first one is directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Let's set our terms. We're not going to be able to rank the 21 films
No, we're
today.
not. We can go toe-to-toe on Thor.
How about
I will cut you.
let's simplify this.
No,
and
no.
within
No
the
cop-outs,
trilogy,
Jen.
within the movies that have sequels, we can rank the best ones there. That's like a
Okay.
subset
The best
argument.
Captain America movies?
Exactly.
The best-
Like let's talk about in the ranking of
don't
Captain
think we
America
can do
movies. Simple. Captain America movies. Winter Soldier,
Soldier.
Civil War, Captain America.
Yeah, I think that's the right order.
Right?
Yeah, Absolutely.
That's the worst, right?
Okay, there you go.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Thor.
Thor.
Now, let's have the discussion. Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, with a bullet. And then it might be a dead tie for last place.
Dark World.
Dark World's Loki sucks. Thor 1's Loki is good and sets up the only good villain until very recent in the MCU.
Dark Elf.
True. Okay, so it's just we're arguing over which one sucked more, and
Yeah.
they're both not so great.
I think.
sadly.
Well, I think for the.
I don't want to say
for its
suck.
time- Exactly.
I love Ken Branagh.
Exactly.
I think he's one of my heroes.
I don't think Thor 1 sucks.
Thor 1. Thor has an arc. He's
It's true.
disgraced.
It's totally true.
There's character development.
It's true.
He has one of the worst Marvel girlfriends
No,
of all time.
I agree.
Does he wear a baseball cap to hide
I
himself?
just didn't
I think
care
so,
about
yeah.
anybody. I just didn't care about
Doesn't he wear
anybody.
jorts or like cargo pants as like his human disguise?
Okay, wait. Can we move on from Thor?
No.
I feel like this is
decide this. Are we-
Thor is the heart of the MCU. That's what Avengers: Infinity War showed us.
I think Thor 1, the first Thor, was a fish out of water story that was really funny. And I think the Thor movies have all been at their best when they're really been lighthearted.
Yeah, agreed.
Even the Warriors 3 comedy, and then that's why Thor Ragnarok really leading into it. Awesome. And I think Thor 1 does that better than Thor 2.
Okay, I'll
And
have
Thor
to watch.
2
I
takes
might
itself
have to watch
a
them
little
again
bit
to
too
determine
seriously.
this,
Sorry.
which sounds terrible too.
Thor. The one thing that Thor 2 has going for it, Devil's Advocating, is it shows his Asgardian buddies a lot.
It's
Like you
set
get Lady
more
Kif
Asgard.
and- yeah.
Sif. Yep.
Sif, yeah.
Kif is
Kif.
the green alien from
But yeah,
Futurama.
it's all, like I met her for 5 minutes. Who knows?
Thor 2 has the fish out of water story, except it's Natalie Portman's time being in Asgard. And I don't think it's played. Even though there's more of her,
Yeah.
she's not really utilized at all. Yeah.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we feel
All right.
like we've settled
No,
that?
Okay.
not at all.
Let's go.
We can
Iron
to be
Man.
continued.
Iron
Alright.
Man.
Yeah.
I
Iron
think this is
Man.
actually a tougher conversation.
No, this is an easy conversation.
All right, well,
it's
let's hear it.
1-3-2. Because the Shane
1-3.
Black one is too much. There's too much Iron Man in the third one. The first one, the
Right.
the
They're
good
all three Favreau.
no.
third one is Shane Black.
Favreau, Shane Black.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Favreau 2 is the one that was written during a writer's strike, I think, when there's no actual plotter.
Right. Jenny
Who fucking knows
Tartakovsky
what's going on?
plotted the battle sequence at the end of 2.
So 2, I think
Yes.
we agree, is the worst one. Unfortunately.
I think that's safe.
I agree with that.
I think-
1 is amazing.
I think
1 effectively kickstarted the not effectively.
we wouldn't
one
have
kickstarted
21 of
the
these
MCU.
movies if the first one
absolutely.
wasn't dope.
If the first
so
one
1,
wasn't
3,
so great.
2?
Yeah, and one like it's the last good origin story in a superhero movie, right?
And it's hard to remember for the kids these days, but Robert Downey Jr. his career was over when that movie came out.
Well,
right, not over, but
Tropic Thunder was coming, and that was very questionable for a lot of reasons.
But he was marginalized. He had a bunch of chances. He'd been arrested. This whole and all of that played into the Tony Stark character in the movie. So there was this wonderful sort of cultural plot mix going on for Iron Man that made it even more exciting and funnier. A lot of those jokes hit hard because culturally at that moment, Robert Downey Jr. was very much like Tony Stark.
yeah,
in
he
all
wasn't
of
the
these really
executive
key ways.
producer on 21 MCU films at that point, or whatever it is.
All right.
Ka-ching.
Avengers. There have been 3 Avengers films.
1-3-2.
Wait, name them again?
Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity War.
Yeah, 1-3-2. I'm going to go with that
Yeah.
too.
All
right.
Wow, this seems to be a pattern. 1-3-2.
1-3-2.
1, 3, 2.
Well, except for 3-1-2.
for Thor. Sure.
Yeah.
And then Guardians, only 2 films.
I think 2 and then 1. I think Adam might be right on this one.
I love them both, and this is the finest of hair splitting because they're both fantastic movies. But I have seen, and I've seen both multiple times. 2, I just don't feel like there's a wrong note in the whole thing. And not that I feel like there's a wrong note in the first one, but I love sitting through 2. It's like there's a
sitting
certain
through
kind
1.
of movie that you love so much. If it's on, you're just going to
Yeah.
finish it. The Departed is one of those
Yeah.
for me. Jackie Brown. Get Shorty. And Guardians 2, absolutely. If it's on, I'm just watching it all the way.
Interesting.
Kurt, what
It's
do you
a
think?
space
You
opera.
you've been
I
awfully
like
quiet in all
I like
this.
1 over 2 for Guardians.
I think one starts off on such a huge bummer with the mom dying that it like
Which is great.
I mean,
It's high stakes.
Look, it's important. It makes
Yeah.
the whole thing work.
Yeah.
But also, I think the arc of again like these movies live and die by their characters, and the arc that Yondu gets in the second one is so good. Like you realize that these guys, these Ravagers, are the outcasts, and that Quill didn't just grow up with some guys who are galactic dicks, but the dicks of the galactic dicks, and like it sets up a whole world that you didn't know was there. But I like the second one a lot.
Look, I really, I'm sad about what happened to James Gunn.
Yes.
And I look forward to more films from him. And hopefully Marvel will come back and realize that they should have him be part of the MCU directors
I think
cadre.
Marvel feels like that. Maybe Disney doesn't, is the word on the street.
Well, so whatever,
Yeah.
whoever it is that has to sign that check, I hope they sign it. And if they don't, I really look forward to what else he does.
When you sign the guy who made Romeo and Juliet to make your big budget Marvel movie, you should know what you're going to get. Anyway,
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp yet.
I think the first one's better than the second one.
I thought the first one was quite good.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a heist movie and with superheroes.
Yeah.
This I have not seen either of these movies.
Oh,
I
wow.
know. No, it's this big gap in my MCU.
They're nice palate cleansers because
Okay.
you have like this big Infinity War thing going on. They feel like nice
Well,
standalone.
I've got a bunch of flights. I've got a bunch of long haul flights coming up this month.
Yeah.
I'll download them both and put them on my laptop.
And then of course, Doctor Strange only has the one.
What are the standalones at this point? Doctor Strange.
which I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah,
thought it was great.
Really loved that
yes.
movie.
Is that the only one? Is that
think
the only
it was-
standalone one?
Well, Incredible Hulk it's technically part of it, but
Oh man, Incredible Hulk. It might not be bookended by Thors.
Edward Norton, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Everyone got a chance to play Thor. I mean,
Hulk, yeah.
Hulk.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we're forgetting something, but maybe not. I mean,
Somebody's yelling at the television at the
What
computer
about
screen right
this
now.
character?
What about that?
Yeah.
I'm scrolling through the list, and I think we're good.
So now all we have to do is rank the
we are.
trilogies.
Sorry. Yeah, Black Panther.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Black Panther's pretty good.
Black Panther.
It's the best Black Panther for sure.
Black Panther and Spider-Man are the two other standalones.
Spider-Man. It's pronounced Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man does whatever a Spud can.
Black Panther. I was on a long haul flight from England a few months ago, and for some reason, I watched Black Panther 3 times in 4 days. And I will tell you that is a movie that not only is super enjoyable to watch from any point at which you pick it up, but it gets better and better. And by better, I mean it gets more emotional. It hits you deeper. Those characters and their triumphs and failures have more pathos to them. That might be my favorite of all the
I don't think it's the
MCU.
only one that I've choked up at.
Yeah,
Really.
And it gets worse every time you see it. Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is such an amazing villain because I agree with him.
Oh, he's right.
He's totally right. That is one of
don't
the
agree with
most
his-
complicated
right.
things
Yeah.
you could do to
Yeah.
give a villain that you're like, well, he's got to go, but man,
His methods,
he's totally
no,
right.
but
Yeah.
his motives, yes.
Well, that and then the brother sister dynamic is like that's one of those things that the more you watch it, the more you pick up on, and she just never lets up on him, and he loves it. Like
Yeah.
it's so, and that's such a hard thing.
All
Like,
great
it-
characters. Angela
yeah.
Bassett is amazing.
Yeah.
It's minor note, but the wonderful guy, the Hollywood dialect coach who does YouTube videos breaking down movie accents.
Okay.
His
I
name,
don't know about the
hold
channel.
on a second. I gotta. Maybe you'll make this happen faster when you cut it, but
Probably not.
dialect.
Or you need Adam, you need to weather up that case a little bit. That thing.
I
looks
just got it
brand new.
because the Apple Store just released iPhone XS, but they have no cases for them in their store. Apple, stop! Apple's the best salesman for Android I've ever met. YouTube.
do you think about
Sorry about
Spider-Man?
this.
I like Spider-Man. Okay. I'm bummed that they wasted Michael Keaton on a one-off villain that we're never going to see again.
Oh, he survives.
Sorry, Eric Singer is his name, and he's a Hollywood dialect coach, and he's really wonderful. And he has 3 long, like half-hour YouTube videos breaking down movie accents, successes and failures, and they are all 3 really, really fun to watch. He is very gracious, even when he is lambasting Brad Pitt for his terrible Southern accent in *Inglourious
God.
Bastards*.
Another movie you could just put on and watch all the way through.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So Eric Singer is really worth watching, and he's come out with a new one, breaking down 28 accents, and he talks about Black Panther.
Oh, cool.
It's really terrific.
I thought Spider-Man was good. Like, it's what I wanted out of Spider-Man. I want a friendly. It's nice to have a more MCU movie where it's like neighborhood stakes, not
Tom
the
Holland
world's gonna end stakes.
gets huge props from Eric Singer for his accent.
Queens.
His American
Yeah.
New York accent.
Wait, he's not from America?
He's British.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh no, when you watch him actually talk, it's full mind blown.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, no, I know, but I know. I've seen Sherlock. I know. I've seen that.
I'm a little
Yeah.
clear about.
Yeah. I think the hard part is figuring out where they all slot in from here. Like the trilogies, that's pretty easy. But like,
Here's how we should do
21
this.
So what we should do is, here's
Okay.
what we do.
Okay.
After this, let's make a list of our favorites from each trilogy, and we'll toe-to-toe those against our favorite standalones. So it would be Iron Man 1, Ragnarok, Winter Soldier, Black Panther, Doctor Strange,
Oh, so it's a
Spider-Man.
tournament
I feel
style.
like this is an unfair advantage for Doctor Strange and Black Panther and Spider-Man, just because there's only one movie there.
It's true.
Yeah.
It could be. So
Like,
maybe
they
we'll have to
basically
wait.
get the wild cards into the second round.
Nonetheless, I feel there would be some excellent suggestions in the comments that we can.
Yeah, I would say that like Civil War stands right up there with Doctor Strange.
Well, this
I
is
would
not to make the
agree
full
with
list.
that.
This
Yeah.
is maybe
But
to
I
get
think
the
that
top
Winter
5.
Soldier stands toe to toe against Black Panther.
Probably.
Maybe here's what we can do. We can each of us independently we'll just write our top 10 out of 20. That way,
All right, yeah.
I think it's harder to
Yeah.
pick the bottom.
Yeah, this
half.
is totally. Yeah, the bottom
So-
half doesn't. No one cares about the bottom
Yeah,
half.
so let's just pick our top
Oh,
10.
I assure you, someone will care.
Someone will care.
It's the internet.
Yeah.
And
Actually.
and then next week or in the following week we will reveal to each other our top 10 lists.
I'll just hand you my list. You'll look at it and you'll nod or shake your head, and then we'll move on.
We'll figure out a clever way to do it.
At the start of the
and
next
if you-
episode.
so one little extra thing occurred to me that if you really wanted to investigate if you really wanted to talk about the quality or you wanted to talk about the resonance of a product, you could talk about its cultural resonance by looking at the /fic fanfic generated by each of these properties. And I would submit, and this is totally arguable because it just came up to my head, that the ones with more fan fiction about them would be the ones that are more deeply culturally resonant within those communities. Actually, right? It's a self-selected community.
Yeah.
So
could
Twilight is
you
the
could pitch
franchise,
this
is
to
what
the
you're saying.
Academy of Motion Pictures and Sciences for their upcoming cultural relevance Oscar.
And now the Rule 34 award
Yeah.
for the Academy.
But you're right. That we need
Bowser.
criteria. Like, what is our criteria? Is
Right.
Is it
It's character development. Is it great action sequences? Is it how affected emotionally we were?
It's
the
the
one
movie
that
you
will
enjoyed the
watch-
most.
You would rewatch the most.
It's the movie you enjoyed the most.
Movie
That's what
we
it should
enjoyed the
always
most.
be.
Okay, movie we were entertained by, enjoyed the most.
No, I said enjoyed, not
Just,
entertained
oh
by.
wow, just enjoyed the most.
yeah, just enjoyed.
All right.
Okay.
Wow, Will's
All right.
going straight to that.
Look, right. You get if it's not
Midwest
in like
farm
that,
boy
Look,
simplicity.
That's me. That's Midwest farm boy Will Smith.
All right, I think that's a great place to leave it.
yeah.
We got to
Yeah,
wrap
think
this
on
up.
this.
Okay.
We've had a couple of false endings
You got
already.
to go finish the Martian costume for
do.
Comic Con. We'll see you guys next week.
Martian.
I
Some poor
apologize in
bastard's
advance.
going to wear a Martian costume, and they're all going to be like Adam, and he's going to be like, "No, he's not done
This
yet."
one, it's going to take people a long time to figure out it's you on this one. I think
It could be.
Yeah. See you
All
guys
right.
next week.
Bye,
Have fun at
guys.
Comic Con, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening this week. And once again, this episode was brought to you by Campaign Monitor. When it comes to email marketing, there's so much more that goes into creating smart and effective campaigns than what meets the eye. That's why Campaign Monitor created an easy-to-use email marketing platform, complete with mobile-friendly templates, a simple drag-and-drop email editor, and award-winning 24/7 customer service. It's used by over 250,000 businesses worldwide. Still Entitled listeners have the opportunity to try Campaign Monitor for themselves without spending a dime. Sign up for your free trial today at campaignmonitor.com/untitled. Again, that's campaignmonitor.com/untitled. We'll see you next week.